Hello. So recently, I decided to try to keep some sort of vlog. That sounds a little cheesy, but it's not really for other people. It's mainly for myself so that maybe years in the future it will be something fun to look at. So there, and actually, I did a few other videos, and then one of my friends was telling me that's not how I normally sound. Like I was changing my voice because it was a video, so this is me attempting to talk like my normal self. Because to be honest, I don't know what I normally sound like. Because it's a little weird to watch yourself on video. And if you do a video, of course, you're a little conscious about the way you talk. So you change it up. All right. So actually, I'm in between work. So I had lunch and then I have work in like 30 or 40 minutes. So here I'm in the second floor, and this is my work area. I don't work in my room because I share a room with my brother, and he works all day, and I don't want to bother him when he's working because of course I take calls also, and it might be a little distracting. So I'm here in like the family or the common area, or I don't know, upstairs living room or whatever you want to call it. And then so my laptop is here, and then beside me I put some of my personal things to make it feel like it's my little corner where I work. So beside me I have a few Funko Pops. I have some Star Wars books, some books that I hope to read this year. So it's 2021, so I hope to go through some of these books because the books, some of them I've been saying since like 20, honestly, since 2014, 2015, like I want to read them because some of them are my dad's books that I didn't want to throw out, but I wanted to read eventually. So if you hear that, sorry, there's a train because we live relatively near the PNR tracks. So sometimes during video calls, you might hear the sound of the train. So sorry. Okay, so as I mentioned, I have some of my Funko Pops, and then I have my Girls' Generation light stick. But today, I'll discuss my Funko Pops. Because here, what I try to do is, I don't exactly know how many I have, but it's somewhere between 70 and 80. Okay, and then I keep around 6 displayed, and then I try to rotate it every now and then. But the ones I have out now are my favorite. Some of my favorite Disney pops. So I collect mainly Disney. Oh no, mainly Star Wars. There's a little Disney, and then a few odd things in between. Like of course I have a Tom Brady pop. I have a Michael Jordan pop. I still don't have a Steph Curry pop, but I should. I'm just not too keen on the NBA designs, but I have to get one of those someday. Okay, so I'll just mention some of my Disney pop. So when I was a kid, of course, there was still no cable TV. So we didn't have cable. So obviously, so wala nga cable TV. So most of the things we'd watch were mainly on Betamax, I think is what you call it, or VHS. I can't remember which of the two, but I think some were Betamax, some were VHS. So we only had a few Disney movies. We had a copy of Bambi, Jungle Book, Cinderella, Dumbo, and then our cousin who lived right next to us, they had a copy of Peter Pan. So you can imagine, you just rotate. Like today, maybe you'll watch Sleeping Beauty and Dumbo. Tomorrow, you'll watch Peter Pan and Jungle Book. So it's just the same thing over and over. So when I buy my Funko Pops, I tend to go with sentimental attachment, which is both a good and a bad thing because if you're a little sentimental about things, you can put meaning into everything. So to be honest, I did say I have 70 to 80 pops, but if I were to go after everything I wanted, I'm sure it could be a whole lot more. But these these four are the most sentimental because some of the movies, even if I used to watch it when I was a kid, some have more sentimental attachment than the others. You know what I mean? So for me in particular, for some reason, it's Peter Pan and Sleeping Beauty. So I have an Aurora pop. Okay, Okay, I cannot remember when I got this one, but I got it a few years ago. Because for if you were going to ask me who my favorite Disney princess is, I Aurora would be one of them. See, of course, I like the others also. I like Jasmine. I like Belle, but for sentimental reasons, I've always liked Aurora. Because yeah, I watched Sleeping Beauty over and over again when I was a kid. Um, I also like Prince Philip, but I don't think there's a Prince Philip pop. But if they did, I would most likely buy that one. So since I like Sleeping Beauty, of course I also like the villain, which is Maleficent. So the funny story is I actually have three of these because by some accident, when I bought one, I misplaced it, and I when I misplaced it, I thought I might have left it somewhere or I thought it got stolen. But apparently, I had put it in a paper bag and I had put it with other things that I thought were empty. I didn't realize that it was in the paper bag. I thought it was empty. Then I set it aside in my room in the place where I put like the empty but usable paper bags. And then I was given one. No, no, I bought one, and then someone gave me another one because they did not know that I had bought a replacement. So I have three, and I don't mind because it's Maleficent. I wanted the original Maleficent. There are other nice designs, but I really wanted the original one because I think it looks the cutest. But if it were up to me and I did not care about money, I would probably get the others. So I don't know. I mean, you never know. Maybe in a few years, if I come across one at a good price, I might actually consider it. Particularly the one where she's in her dragon form and she's spitting out fire. I know one of my friends, Chin. Chin has that one, I think, and it's really nice. I got tempted to buy it a few months ago, but I don't know. I decided not to. But maybe next time, if I see it again and if it's at a good price, I would consider it. So growing up, for many years, I used to say that Peter Pan was my favorite character, and he actually still is. But I know that the movie is a little problematic when viewed in today's perspective, right? It's a little no, it's very racist. And it's a little sexist. But when I was a kid, I used to watch Peter Pan. I don't know, maybe every other day. I'd go to my cousin's house because, as I mentioned, they were right beside us. And then when you have nothing to do, you're like, oh, let's watch Peter Pan, Peter Pan. So I have two Peter Pan theme pops. So one is Peter Pan. Of course, I have to have Peter Pan. And I have Captain Hook. So the Peter Pan pop is what I consider to be the most important pop in my collection. I know it can go for a lot of money now. I think it's around 4 or 5 thousand if I were to sell it. There was a time it was 7,000, but to be honest, even if you offered me 20,000, 30,000 pesos, not dollars, I would never sell it because this one has a lot of sentimental value. This was given to me, I think, Christmas of 2012 or maybe sometime in 2013 by one of my friends. So it came from Toy Kingdom, and at that time, no one was collecting pops. So this one was actually really cheap. I think it was either buy one, get one, or it was 50 off. But basically, when you compute it, it comes out to like 250 or 300 pesos. So it's worth a lot of money now if I wanted to sell it. But as I mentioned, because of the sentimental value and because it came from a really good friend of mine, I will never ever sell this pop. So I think the only way I would sell this is if it were life and death situation and like it's like 100,000 and I needed some sort of surgery. You know what I mean? Like under no circumstance would I ever seriously consider selling that pop. And then of course, as I mentioned, I have Captain Hook. So Captain Hook, this one is a 2020 release, and I can still remember the morning that I saw the post that they were selling this pop. So Captain Hook, when the Peter Pan came out, there was a Captain Hook. And one of my biggest regrets as a collector is that I never bought it because I was a little too picky with the paint job. Like I'd see it in Toy Kingdom. It was really cheap, 250 or 300, but I wasn't so happy with the paint job. And I guess I never realized that Funko could become so expensive. So I always thought, oh, you know what, it's always gonna be there. In a few years, I can get it. So maybe the paint job will be better by then. So there were other ones I passed on, like Donald Duck and Captain Hook, and the original Captain Hook, and they're worth a lot of money now. And it frustrates me not because how much they turned out, but because if I wanted it, I have to pay so much. You know what I mean? It's not that I wanted something that's expensive. I want it for the sentimental value that it represents. Because it's Captain Hook. A few years ago, no, not a few years ago, it was a long time ago. I think it was in 2007. Me and my friends went to Hong Kong Disneyland, and it was Halloween season. And I'll remember, I have this thing whenever I go to Disneyland. The one goal I have is I want a picture with Captain Hook. That sounds a little ridiculous because, right now I'm already 36, but that is still the goal. If I ever go to Disneyland and if I ever see Captain Hook, I just want a picture with Captain Hook because Captain Hook and Maleficent are my favorite Disney villains. So sometimes when I'm bored, I look at Disney shop and I look at Captain Hook merchandise. So there. So yeah, Peter Pan, Captain Hook, so Maleficent, Aurora. So these are some of my favorite pops. I mean, I have a lot more, so maybe I'll discuss a few more, but for sentimental reasons, Peter Pan and Captain Hook are up there. This Captain Hook, if we're talking about the value in terms of money, it's not worth much. But when I saw it, I knew I just had to get it, so I ordered it right away. And even when the order was confirmed, I could not believe that I was gonna get a Captain Hook pop. There's another variant of the Captain Hook, the one with TikTok, the crocodile, but I did not get that one because I wanted it to just be Captain Hook. So yeah, so those are some of my pops. I have a lot more. Maybe I'll go through them next time, but that's all for now. See you.